Hello, hello. In this episode, we're going deeper into Raid Shadow Legends knowledge. We're going to be focusing on rank 3 or 3-star champion training, and I'm going to be showing you step by step the picture that you have in front of you. Don't get scared of it. We're going to just go step by step. So, starting from the left side, we have the rank 3, which is of course up to level 30, and these are the experiences required to level up per level. And you see that each time it is 10% more, and it's a flat number. It does not increase, does not reduce, so it's a flat increase each level. So in level one, from level one, you'll need 1,279, and then you need 1,411, and so forth, until you do the last um, uh, upgrade at 19,894, and you max it out. So you have in total, when you add up all the experiences required, you get that you are required to train 200,681 experience to level up a champion from from level 1 to the max level of level 30, and therefore you then have a maxed out champion which you can rank to 4-star. So that's just the basics of it. The important number here to remember or to just take a note of, because you don't have to remember it by heart. I'm going to keep it on, is the 200,681. All right, so now we're jumping to the right side of the screen, and what you see on the right side of the screen is a chart, a table which is comparing the number of brews to be used and number of runs to be done in the campaign. So let's take the first example. In the first column here, what you can do is, which is done most of the time, is you don't use the brews, and then you do 24 runs to max out the champion. Well, technically, I made a note here that normally you should do one normal run in 12.3 and then 23 brutal runs in 12.3. And that would be the most effective way of doing it. That way, it will cost 188 energy, which is 1 times 4 energy and 23 times 8 energy for the brutal stage. Now, this is the most, let's say, I don't want to say popular, because I don't know for sure if everybody does it this way, but this is the most efficient one without the bruise. The alternatives are other stages and nightmare. But from all the time I'm playing the game and analyzing the figures, this is the most effective, I think, because you also get the shields which you sell for silver, and you also get the green shards or the mystery shards, which are useful to get some extra points for the events like Summer Rush or Champion Chase. So I find this to be the most effective one, rather than jumping to Nightmare or trying to play with other stages. So that would be the normal one. But I built this table to show you all the different possibilities you have and which one is efficient and which one is not. So, for example, the first column here that we have, to use no brews and then to be lazy and just stay in the 12.3 brutal and do 24 brutal runs, that is not efficient, because you see, as you're getting experience, which is 8,652 per champion with the experience card, then you end up with in total 207,648 experience. So you're overblowing it compared to your requirement that you need to get 200,000. So that way of doing it is not efficient. So which is why for the standard way, it should be one normal and 23 brutal rather than 24 brutal runs, which is what somebody more lazy would do, because it's just easier. You lose a couple of energy, but maybe it's easier. Maybe you take life to be easier that way. But if you're focused on doing it the most efficient way, then it should be the one normal and 23 brutal. So that's your option one. That is going to be 188 energy. Then the second option is to use one brew and then level up the rest of it with runs, and that way is even worse. So that's totally not recommended because that ends up with 209,000 experience, because the right before you have 200,442, which is just a little bit less than the required 200,681. So also that way is not efficient. But the next one, which is to use two brews, this is another option. This is also an efficient choice, because if you use two brews, that's gonna jump the level 3 to, if I remember, to level 15, and then the rest of it you do 19 runs in the 12-3, and that will bring you to 201,888, which is pretty close to the 200,681. So that is a very efficient option. So I noted it here as well for you. So option one, don't use any brews. Do one run in normal and 23 runs in 12-3 brutal. That's 188 energy. Option two, which is also efficient, is to use two brews on the champion first, and then do 19 runs in 12-3 brutal. And that's going to be 152 energy. Of course, it's less energy, but you're paying a little bit of the brews for it. So that's another option. In yellow here, I've indicated the 3 brews and the 4 brews as possibilities, but technically it's getting further away because these arrive to 203,000 and 204,000. So while that could be an option for somebody, it's not for me. I try to play the game as efficiently as possible, and so these are, while it's yellow, so somebody might choose them. For my own account, I don't choose them. I only go for the green ones. Then the next ones, 5 brews, 6 brews, and 7 brews, are also not efficient. They end up with 206,000 experience, 207,000 experience, and 209,000 experience, which is going well above the required 200,681. So that's not an option as well. And then we come to what is our third option, which is a good one, which is to use 8 brews and then do 6 runs in 12-3 brutal. That's going to cost 48 energy and arrive to 201,912, which is a little bit over what is required, but it's close, so it's still efficient. So I consider that as option number 3. And then we have two more, the 9 brew option and the 10 brew option, which I also marked as yellow because it's close by. But again, for my own account, I don't consider it. And then we have option number 4. Although it is red color, I will explain now also why I sometimes do choose this option, which is 11 brews and 0 runs. So the main reason of using this option is if you're in a hurry, you're busy in real life, the event is finishing, you need to get the points done, and you just don't have time to do the runs. That's the only case where you use up your stockpile of brews, which you hopefully have gathered and saved up for those emergency situations where you can level up the champions very quickly, rank them, get the points, complete the event, and then go and get busy with whatever you were doing in real life. So this option is also definitely an efficient option but for the purpose of emergencies. For normal other situations, or more regular situations where you do have the time to do the runs, you have the first three options. So the option of not using brews at all, using two brews, and then using 8 brews. Now, how do you decide which one to do? In situations where, for example, you have a champion training event for 3 days, and the points which are required in that event are something that your regular energy, which is approximately 1,000 energy per day, but you can also, if you have done a good job in saving up some energy, you can have some in the stock. You could also have saved up some gems, which you should do in any case, because in emergencies you always need to have some resources saved up to use. So if you see that there's no rush, you're able to complete the event doing it with regular runs. That's option number one for you. You do the regular runs, you don't use your stockpile of brews, you keep them for days where you definitely need to use them. So that's option one. Option two, the two brews option, is where they put, let's say, a 3 day or a 4 day champion training, but they put a very high point requirement. Maybe they put a really good reward on top, which you want, which could be one or two legendary books, or the new the red champion books. I forgot the name. So it could be a really good reward on top, or it could be one of the white shards for summoning champions and so forth. So just whatever reward that you maybe really want to get, but it has a high point requirement. That for that, the two brews option is pretty good, because the regular way of doing it with the zero brews is not fast enough. You won't get the points within the, let's say, the 3 days required for the event. So it's a bit slower. So you'll use some of your saved up brews, but not too many, because you're only using two per champion. It's still significant, because every single champion with two brews, it really adds up. So you could easily end up using 300 brews, and the saved up resources go away quite quickly if you push on them too much. So this is a very good option where you want to speed up a little bit, but not too much. It's still gonna use 152 energy to get three champions ready, but it's the difference between 188 and 152 is actually pretty big, because you're going to be doing this multiple times. So you're going to be saving this difference multiple times. So to speed up, this is a very good option. Now from here, the 2 brews and the jump to 8 brews, it's a pretty big jump from 2 to 8 brews. And this is if you really need to speed up. An example of this would be a massive event where, let's say, there's a legendary champion up for grabs, and you want to get massive amounts of points, and you're competing against somebody else. So in those situations, you'll be using option three, option four, really pushing the gas pedal to get as many points as fast as possible. Option three would only take 48 energy, and 8 brews, of course, to get three level threes maxed out, and then you'll rank them up as well, which will give you additional points. And then once you rank them up to 4 star, you will of course use some brews to get some more levels and points before you feed them further as well, of course. So these are the interesting points of I highlighted for you here in green arrows, four options which I consider to be so the first three. So the first one is the normal way, which is not super efficient. The efficient ones are the two brews option, because it comes close to the 200,000 energy. The first one is efficient if you do it with one normal and 23 brutal runs, and not the 24, just blindly staying in the brutal. But so not being lazy, but just taking that extra step of switching first one normal run and then switching to the brutal difficulty, and then doing the rest of the runs that way. If you're using RSL helper, you do manually the normal run first, and then you switch to brutal, and then you say run until the champion is leveled up. So then he will do 23 brutal runs for you. Then you don't have to pay attention. You can do whatever you want in the house, or in the office, or wherever you are. So it is efficient if you do one normal 23, not the 24 brutal ones. 24 brutal is not efficient. And so the first three options I consider as efficient, and the fourth option, it's efficient in the point of view of being in a really big rush. So it can be not only a short event, which where you've been busy, you came home extremely late, you only have 30 minutes, you need to rank the champions quickly, and you don't have time to run campaigns. So that's the option where you use your stockpile of brews, zero runs whatsoever, zero energy, and then you do 11 brews for every level 3. It'll max them out, and then you rank them, and then you feed several brews as well. I like to do 4 for the rank force, just as a side point, and to get more points until you feed those also to the maxed out level 40s. So that's also efficient in terms of emergency or short time, or also if you're running a competition tournament with massive points, like the example I gave, we're fighting for legendary, and you are just very close with somebody, and it's the last 15 minutes. This is also an option to quickly max out, rank out, crank out some points. So that's why I highlight also this fourth one, even though in terms of experience points, 214,902 technically is not efficient, but like I said, it's efficient when it comes to time and emergencies. So that's the explanation of it. I'll just also pop out the calculator to tell you the ratio. So you have basically 29 levels that you will do, because the champion itself is already level 1, so one level is not considered. So you have 29 levels to do, and normally you have one campaign farmer and 3 champions. So you multiply by 3, that's 87 points. But for level 3s, you get 2 points per level, not 1 point, which is for for 1 stars and 2 stars. Sorry, I said level, I meant stars. So 1 star and two-star champions, they get 1 point per level, but 3 stars get 2 points per level. So we further multiply this by 2, and that's 174 points that you get with one campaign farmer and 3 food champions of rank 3 or 3 star. So if I save that number, then of course once you max them out, you're gonna rank them up. And for 3 stars, that's 50 points. So 50 points times 3, that's 150 points, plus the previous number that we had, the 174, and you get 324 points. So this is what I consider for myself the number of points that you get for maxing a level 3 and ranking it further. Now, in some other people might also choose to add to this the fact that you will also feed some brews to the rank 4 that you make from these, but I normally don't consider it because there are multiple options that you might do with the rank 4s. So that I consider as part of the points of the rank 4. So for rank 3s, I consider that in a regular case, you spend 188 energy and you get 324 points. So if I save that, so if 324 divided by 188, you get a ratio of 172 points per energy. So that's the ratio that is important to consider when trying to do things efficiently. Yeah, in other episodes, I will show that rank 1 is also has a good ratio, but rank 2 has a very bad ratio, and then rank 3 improves, has a better ratio, and so forth. So it's important when doing the champion trainings also to consider which stars of champions you're training, and which efficiency it will give you. And then in the second option, when you're using 2 brews, then of course you're going to be using less energy. So if I clear this up and I take the 324 points and I divide it this time by 152, then the ratio increases to 2.13 points per one energy, which is of course a better ratio than the first scenario, but you're paying for this by using the 2 brews. But this allows you to become let's say the payment of 2 brews allows you to become much more efficient in generating points. So instead of 172, you're making 2.13. And of course, in the situation of 8 brews, it's even significantly higher, because you divide by 48 energy, you're now up to 6.75 points per energy, which is much more significant. But you're paying for this in terms of brews. On the higher ones where you use a lot of brews, I think it's less relevant to use the ratios, but on the lower ones, it is important. So if it's 172 or 2.1, those are interesting numbers to keep in mind. So there you have it. That's some deeper knowledge jumping into understanding the 3 stars training and point generation, and which strategies or which options are efficient and which ones are not. Quick recap. So to max out the a rank 3 champion or 3-star champion, it requires 200,681 energy. The most efficient way of doing it in a normal case, it is not using any brews, doing 1 run in normal 12-3 and 23 runs in brutal 12-3. And then another option, if you want to speed up, is to use 2 brews. That gets you to about level 15 if I recall. Then you do 19 runs in brutal 12-3, and that will get you a maxed out 3-star champion in a very efficient way. If you need to speed up a lot more, then you can choose to do the 8 brews option and plus 6 runs in 12-3 brutal. That's this option right here. And in the worst case, in case of emergency, you don't do any runs and you do 11 brews. So there you have it. I hope that was useful to you. Thank you for watching, and if you like my content, please check out other videos and also like and subscribe.